Welcome to Wonder the World, and in today's episode, we are joined by a couple who have made it their mission to help us all fall in love with our own backyards, as it were. The name's Saleha and Aliasgher Jan Mohammed. They are the duo behind a platform called A for Adventures, which is a travel and lifestyle platform with thousands of followers already, and they are just as passionate about discovering South Africa as the creators of the platform are. And basically, this duo uncover hidden gems, small towns a little off the beaten track. They also uncover great places to find the perfect cup of coffee or croissant for breakfast, or to try something a little different that isn't just your standard tourist experience. So they're all about loving the local and encouraging us to be tourists in our own country. And the best part of all, of course, is that means you never have to go through the trauma of a visa interview ever again. Saleha and Aliasgher, welcome. It's wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you so much. It's really cool to be here.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's a huge pleasure.
Good afternoon to your listeners as well.
Let's start with the name, A for Adventures. What's the origin? Or are we going to see iterations B, C, D, and E still coming in future?
No, actually, I think, so it's our names basically. The first A on A for Adventures is Aliasgher, my name. S is Saleha's name. And I think it puts together what we want to do. We want to be adventurous in our own.
We want to help
country and
people
city.
be adventurous, yeah. Mm-hmm. So we were like, let's just keep it simple, not too complicated.
Okay.
Yeah.
The adventurous spirit, something that's been instilled in you by the people who came before you, or something that's been your thing to say, I refuse to live a quiet life like those who've gone before me. I want to do it differently.
I think the latter, hey?
Yeah.
Like we've both grown up and not traveling way too much, and at some point we just realized, funnily enough, it was this cathartic moment on top of Table Mountain, very literally, to say that, well, this is such a beautiful country that we live in, and we really need to take advantage of that and explore it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the things that we realize being in South Africa is that often we don't know what to do because we think everything is expensive or it's for tourists or something like that. But what we have realized, that's not the case. You can go up Table Mountain and that's free. and there is so much more to explore that way in a budget-friendly way and learn about our beautiful country.
It's one of the reasons I asked you guys to join us here today, because we have, and there is place for, make no mistake, there's place for the luxury experiences and the wonderful lodges and the new hotels and all those things. Absolutely not saying don't use them. But I love the fact that you guys are all about saying keep it accessible, make it something that an ordinary South African who has to worry about a budget can still do and see and experience without necessarily having to spend half their annual savings to get around the world. That's even before you've got the visa. What was the very first place that you visited together when you decided you were going to do this? What was the first thing to populate the site?
So I think before the site, I think Stellenbosch came to mind. So
Yeah.
we visited Stellenbosch. I think it was a 4-day trip. And just being there, what we tried to do is we wanted to do everything that was everywhere. And we found that there was not one space where we could find something. We're Muslims as well. So halal is so important to us.
Yeah.
And that is something that we wanted, accessibility. And often many people said, Stellenbosch is a wine city. But it's not actually. It's a place that anyone can visit. And making that accessibility part so critical is so useful, I think. And I remember the budget being so important because we always open up the Excel sheets or the Google Sheets, and for us that budget matters, and we were able to do that, and that really made a difference to us.
Funnily enough, that wasn't our first post though, hey?
Yeah.
The first post was probably actually the Table Mountain hike, because you would think that there is so much information out there about it, but we wanted to do the scenic one instead of just going straight up, and it took us quite a lot of searching to actually find, even though it was such a popular thing. And that was probably our first post. And when I look back at it now, I think, we've come such a long way.
How many years ago was that?
Almost 4 this October.
Yes, 4 years.
Yeah.
Now, important to emphasize, this is not your full-time job. You both have careers and income streams. This is a passion that you love sharing with other people. But I think that also emphasizes what I was saying about accessibility and budget consciousness, that they travel with budget restrictions and with having to juggle a work life and all those things that normal people face in life. And that is reflected in the kinds of stories that are shared on their platforms. Now, you're partly about finding entire new destinations to visit, but you're also sometimes about saying, let's find the best cup of coffee or the perfect plate of eggs for breakfast or whatever it may be. When you approach a new destination, do you go with a sort of completely blank slate and open mind, or do you sometimes go to a place with a fixed idea that somebody has told us you can find the best brioche in the Western Cape in Napier, and that's where we're going this weekend to eat brioche? How does it work?
Sometimes it is the latter, but not too often. I think we've realized that, everyone has different palates, especially when it comes to food.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of like going in with just, an empty slate, we won't read the reviews, especially I won't check because I know that it will probably color my opinion of it. And then we will try something completely random from the menu. Sometimes we might try a couple of things, and we both have different tastes as well. So that's nice to kind of...
Can I tell you something that we don't like? We don't like the top 10 or top 15 things.
Yes, we don't believe in those.
I think those are very specific for a generalized group.
Mm-hmm.
And as human beings, we are all different, I think.
Yeah.
And that uniqueness has to come out. And even when we review something, we often say that, this is Aliasgher's experience, this is Saleha's experience. Try both, actually. Experience both and open yourself up to that, So definitely we are planners, because I'm an engineer. She's a public health specialist by background. But I think for us that travel is all about getting lost. It's about trying something that nobody has recommended, and then sometimes failing that way, because failing is such a critical part of traveling, I think.
You're the second guest to say today how important traveling is in our life, failing is rather in our life experience, that you learn so much in the moments where things don't go according to plan. And you might have, it sounds like you, like me, a big planner, that half the fun is the preparation for the trip before you even get there. But sometimes things do not go your way. Let's talk about some of the experiences that you've had because of the plans going off the beaten track. I mean, I don't want to ask you about favorites, because I know this isn't, as you said, it's a very personal thing. But you each want to share with us an example of a time where things didn't go according to the plan, but you ended up discovering something wonderful or experiencing something amazing.
Yeah, I think our honeymoon was a very good experience. And here I'm going to share something that was outside of South Africa, but I think it's still worth it. We were visiting Spain in March, I think. And for the first time in 10 years, it was raining in March.
Oh.
I mean, imagine that, right? In our honeymoon. Lovely. So I'm at the airport. I've never seen the weather. And I look at the weather and I know it's raining. And I become the whiny baby that I am. And I start complaining. And my wife is like, what do you want to do now? The flight is right there. But regardless of that, what we did was we got there. We went to the nearby spaces. I think we got some cheap winter wear.
Yes.
And we started exploring the city. We were soaked, drained. But the reality was we had something that we wanted to plan and we wanted to explore it. And we were like, the rain is not going to get on our way. And I think sometimes we often think about, and I'm particularly bad at this, often think about the bad things and then just realizing that follow the plan. It'll work out, actually.
Yeah, I think what comes to mind for me is a couple of years ago, we did a road trip across a couple of provinces in South Africa. And we were leaving Kimberley and we were driving the speed limit. But if you've been to Kimberley, then you would know that the potholes are the size of, meteorites, essentially.
Yeah.
So we didn't realize we actually needed to drive a third of, the speed limit.
Yeah.
We got into a very bad situation because we ended up having a puncture, and neither of us, in theory, both of us know how to change tire. But in real life, we were just stumped.
I never owned a car, so I didn't know how to do this. Yeah.
So it was really nice, though, because somebody actually stopped, and he was rushing to a meeting. He told us this, and he actually stopped and helped us to change the tire.
Fantastic.
And it was such a sweet experience, because it really reminds you that we sometimes have these perceptions about places and things, but people are just wonderful if you just give them a chance to.
Classic South Africans. We're just lovely, lovely people. Yeah. We are there to help everyone.
I had the exact same experience I relayed on air a couple of months ago in Worcester.
Really?
Same thing. Flat tire, stranger coming out of nowhere, underneath the car, lifting that thing up, getting himself covered in grease, and left quietly without so much as leaving us with his name. It was one of those moments. You are reminded that people are good, actually, more than they are bad. Just in case anybody has come in midway to this conversation, let me just fill you in and catch you up. Our guests are Saleha and Aliasgher Saleha Suleiman, Aliasgher Jan Mohammed, who are the duo behind a platform called A for Adventures. And the S, it's a capital A at the beginning and a capital S at the end, symbolizing their names. It is a platform that is all about encouraging local travel and encouraging South Africans to explore in their own backyard and find all those wonderful quirky sights and experiences and people that make this country so special. Is it primarily for South Africans, or do you find that you get international visitors interacting with you and asking for advice?
we do get a lot of international visitors asking for advice. And I think because of that, more recently, we have, especially on our website, kind of geared things towards, if you are visiting, for example, Cape Town for the first time, these are the things you must do, or we have itineraries available. And we have, I think, organized, customized itineraries for international travelers as well. But we find that the needs are usually different depending on where you're visiting from.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and but I think we the thing that we realized with our platform is that we want to balance out both. So South Africans want to visit their country. We've seen that. They've told us that. They sometimes have 2 children and they're like, well, with 2 children, where can I go visit? And there are spaces that you can visit and still explore, and the world hasn't ended, right?
Yeah.
And I think that especially in this budget crisis situation where everyone is looking at their income very closely, I think we want to ground ourselves to the reality of South Africa and show people what they can do and explore wonderful things right at their doorstep, right? One of the things I think that was one of our popular videos was the Ceres Railway.
Yeah.
And that video I think went to 700,000 views.
Wow.
In just a few days, I think, because nobody knew that there is a working train at that time that goes from the foreshore to going to the Elgin market. And people were fascinated by this, and everyone had so many queries, so many questions about it, and they were able to visit this amazing opportunity, this amazing experience, through this video. And that is amazing.
Yeah.
I believe it is amazing. I've had a couple of listeners who we've chatted to and about them before, and a couple of listeners who've messaged in to say they've done that trip. I haven't heard a bad word about it. It's something everybody says is a completely unique experience. What's been your most surprising destination or experience, a place that really wasn't what you thought it was going to be?
Mine has to be the Golden Gate National Park.
Yep.
So this is this amazing place, and I strongly recommend. It's in Free State.
Yep.
I strongly recommend going to the national park itself and living there. It's incredibly affordable. You won't have to break the bank for this. It's like being in heaven. You stay there. The mountains are surrounding you. It's so beautiful. Even when you climb the mountains, you stay there. You will switch off. You won't think about anything for those couple of nights or couple of days that you're there. And I highly recommend it.
I think for me, a surprising destination was probably Joburg, because I think people, and myself included, often feel that Joburg is a city. You go there for work. You kind of don't really go there for leisure. You don't want to travel. The first time I visited Joburg, I was shocked, and since then I've wanted to go back so many times because I still feel like there's more things to do. It's so different from Cape Town, but in an amazing way. And I think the mistake we often make is to compare the two. But it's like comparing apples and oranges.
I 100% agree. I lived in Joburg for 10 years, and I feel like I only scratched the surface of all the places to explore in the time that I was there. And every time I go back, I have that feeling, firstly, of how fast it is and how much it's grown since I was there, but secondly, how much I'm missing that is there to be explored. So I completely endorse that. Is the dream to be able to do this full time one day?
Honestly, no. I think we both love our jobs and we love the fields that we're in. This has become a much bigger passion project than we expected it. I think when we started, we had no idea that we would. In 4 years, we're almost a community of 35,000 people, I think, which is unfathomable. It's so humbling. But probably not full time, no.
No, yeah. I think this is also a platform for us eventually to. So I think something you'll see from our page is we don't post anything we don't want to do. So I know sometimes it can become very pressurized where you do things that you don't want to do because that's the demand. But very much we've stayed true to this aspect that we want to do the things that we are excited about. But like Saleha said, I think we are so passionate about our own careers as well, where we do so many social impact work as well, that we want to create both of these platforms. And I think the world is moving towards a stage where you do multiple jobs at the same time. And that's something we really aspire towards.
And just to add, I think the fact that we don't just share absolutely everything, I think is something that our community does appreciate. Like, we had someone come up and tell us, like, we've changed the way that they travel in South Africa. And someone else said that they exclusively trust our opinion, and that because we posted about this particular place, they're definitely going to go there. And it's a responsibility that we don't take lightly, because at the end of the day, if somebody, recommended something to us and we went and spent our money, then we wouldn't want to mislead people into, just. It
comes down to authenticity as well. And I think people are getting, the more media savvy we get, the more people recognize it when they see it and value it when they see it, because there is so much of the opposite kind of content out there that has just been based on whoever paid me to say this.
Completely.
So
agree.
I think hats off to you for keeping it that way. The last thing to tell our listeners before we must say goodbye is where they get to explore your content.
Any social media platform, we're there pretty much everywhere. You can search, it's A4 Adventures, FOR underscore. I don't think that's necessary though, A4 underscore Adventures, or you can check out our website as well. That's just a4adventures.com. Yeah.
And get busy exploring in your own backyard. Thank you so much for the work that you're putting into this platform, and more importantly for joining us today to share it.
Thank you.
It's been a great
so much,
pleasure having
Pippa.
you with us. Saleha and Aliasgher, and the platform you're looking for, A4 Adventures with an S on the end.